right, hey guys, Sam back with you here on Tuesday, August 14th. And as it's a Tuesday, we're looking at traditional assets. So I have up here Bank of America. And this I was looking at this yesterday because I was talking to one of my senseis, and we were kind of comparing and talking about the crypto bear and how it related, and I mentioned how much it reminded me of the sell-off into the 2009 lows here when Bank of America got down to $2.32, and then this recovery we've had since then. Well, no surprise, it's been technical, and we do have a solid wave count here that we can work with here. So let me open this up a little bit now. Here's the crash low. Here's February of 2009. So from this, I can get a good 1-2. And the very clear three-wave structure suggests, now that's deep, it's very deep for a wave 2, we know that, but we hold an internal retracement here, so we in between the 786 and the 887, again, it's deep, but considering what was going on at that time, that's not terribly shocking. So we hold this low, so 1 ABC down into a 2. Now if we start counting, working our way up here, it starts to get interesting. So from this low, you can see here, well, we got a little reaction here at the algo target. We've to and through, so it looks like there's more to go here. So whoops, so if I didn't mean to take that, let's go back here. So if I take that off, let's see, let's get this off here. So there it is. Okay, so there's my 1-2. So with that established, and assuming I've got that right, we can start counting from this, what ends up being the 15 low, where we get to $4.81, and now work through this. Now, again, I'm on the daily chart here, so we're gonna dig in a little bit more here where we can see it. But really, with equities, I strongly encourage that you always start with the daily. So we've got this pretty clearly established just channel, level of support here that we could wick off here. So this is just something to keep in mind. Should there any sort of a retracement begin here that's going to have any depth, that's an area that we'd want to be paying attention to. So that's just something to keep in mind. You can see here the bulk of the trading here as I'm looking at it is all down here lower around 16 prior to this big push that we've had here. So there's clearly a shelf of support that's in play. So if we count this out and we look here and we go from this as my 2 low here, well, I've got a pretty clear 3, 4, 5 here. So 1 and the 5, very similar in length and distance. So we get a 3, 4, 5, gives me a nice 1 wave here off of this low. So I go 1, 2, and it appears that we then go 1, 2 yet again. So from that 1, I get my A, B here, slightly expanded B wave here to give me an A, B, and then we go down hard here for a C, giving me a 2. Well, first question, is it technical? So from this pivot low here to what I'm proposing as the wave 1 high, we come here and you see right to the 50. All right, so we get a little through it. We get between the 50 and the 618. Very common. That's just where we're looking. That's our sweet spot for a wave 2. Well, down we come into it. So that's a good candidate for a wave 2. Well, then from that wave 2, well, we need to see an impulsive wave structure come off of that low. So do we have it? Well, it's hard to miss it. So 1, 2, up we go, 3, 4, and it looks like now we're pushing higher. Well, it would appear that we may well have completed the third here relative. So in the largest degree in blue, 1, 2. Then to the green, 1, 2 here. It looks like we may have very well completed the third up here because of all of this nice subdivision that I get along the way. So if I just focus in on this section here. So from my 2 low here, I get a very nice 1, 2. This is technical, so let's check it, right? We can always use our FIB tools to look for the probability zones. We know the highest probability zone for a wave 3 is between the 1618 and the 175. Well, we gap right through that, and we get up. Actually, here's the 2618, so we're through all of that. So we're into upper extremes here for this wave 3 relative to the wave 1 projected from the wave 2. So this is a high probability that I've got my wave 3 here. This is my impulsive wave, and you can see I get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I were going to label that, I'd do it this way. So 1, 2, it's like 3, 4, and then we go for the 5. Now let's get that down to a degree that would make sense. Okay, so from this 1, 2, then I get my nice 5-wave structure to give me my third. Here I get an A, B. Here's my wave 4. As we kind of move sideways, get a bit of a, it's almost a triangle here. So we can look here, we get this kind of a thing. And then here we go across the lows. All right, so there's the break, and then we get the 1, 2 yet again. So we've had 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, we go 1, 2. Now again, it looks like we have completed this fifth. So you look here at the third, and you say, let's see, we got to check that. So if this is my 4, and I go to my 1, down from my 2, well, what do? We go to the 1, 6, 1, 8 to the tick. So high probability that that's my third within this fifth wave. Down we come for the 4. We don't overlap the 1. Doesn't threaten it. Comes, we get a decent wave 4 here. Let's pull this off here since we have a good candidate here. So from this wave 2 here to my wave 3, well, we come right where we'd expect it. We come right to the 38. We get a couple of ticks through it. We hold the wave 1. So here's my wave 1 high, which was right on top of the 50. We hold that. Then we go first algo target, second. We've come all the way to the third algo target. So we get the extension in the fifth. So from that would imply that we have completed now the fifth here of this degree here in white, giving us a good candidate for our wave 3 high. Well, now we go A, B, C. Now, it looks like it's still in play here, and we've just gone into the 1 wave. It looks like we're setting up the 1 wave of the fifth wave. So why do I say that? Because if this is our 4, and we're going to stay with this motive wave here to complete, likely somewhere up here for a 5, that can't be our fifth, so it's because it's not giving us enough distance here. So it looks like most likely we'd have it this way. So we'd have some sort of a 1, 2 going in, then a 3 and a 4 and coming up here for our 5. So that would suggest that the 5 would be up here. This would be still much higher, but that may be completing the third wave up here. So this would be up here. So that looks like what may be in play here. So potentially now we'd label it this way. So here's your potential roadmap. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get us up there. We can go to, we'll go to white here, and we'll go up a degree. Let's go to micro. Okay, so that gives us now a potential roadmap here as to where this may be going to complete all of this. So if I pull this all back out, okay, 1, 2. In green now, 1, 2, looks like 3 is completed. So we're still in the 1, 2, the degree here in green. We're still in the 1, 2, 3 looks like it has completed given all of that clear subdivision that we get along the way. Looks like we're just now putting in the 4. So let me move all of that off because that is all just potential roadmap here, but that's what we want to do. We want to lay out potential areas of interest. So this looks like we've gone, if we're going to hold here, if this is going to stay as an ABC and we don't go into some complexity here where we might have, this could ultimately turn into a WXY if we're going to go deeper. But as long as we stay with this 5-wave structure, let's wick off our wave 1 high here. This suggests that this is the wave 1 of the 5th wave of this degree here in green. So from that 1, 2, 3, 4 looks like that's in play, and from our 2, taking our 2 to our proposed 3, the fact that we're sitting right here, we've come to the 38 and we're getting a bounce. Well, here's the algo target. That's a reasonable candidate here for our wave 1. If that's going to complete up here, we're going to go all the way back here. So the next really solid trading opportunity would be upon either buying it here, looking for that push up to the 5th. Nothing wrong with that. A little bit late to the party, but that's still buyable here. If you'd rather wait because you don't like to buy things that are going up and we haven't caught the actual pivot here before we started this move, the next opportunity, if you want to be more conservative, is wait for the ABC to bring us down here for our wave 2, looking to play into the 3, right, which would be up here, 3, 4, and 5. So this can get now deleted here. So that would suggest that we'd have this kind of a scenario going up for the 3, which would be the 3 of the 5th, right, of this degree, all setting up for the 4 and the 5. So the more patient trade would be, because until we take out this high, we still have the possibility that this could go into a combination. We still could have A, B, and the reason I say that is because of this here. So we've gone right to the 786 to the tick. So the alternate is, if I pull this off, right? No reason to assume otherwise, but right now the possibility is that we would have it this way. So I would actually have to get a WXY. So this ABC could just be the W. We'd be going into the X, and then the C would be somewhere down here. And that would, so this would be here. This would not be our 1. That wouldn't start until we complete. So, and I only, this is not my primary account, but it's good to have an alternate in case we're wrong here. If this, so then the 4 would come over here, right? This becomes a combination. So let me pull this back out. You can see what I'm talking about here. So we'd potentially now from the 1, 2 here, here's the 3. So my alternate count would be looking for if this starts to come down, right? Which no reason to think that it would, other than the fact that I had the pivot at the 786. So were that to come down, right? We coming from the 786, went down here for a WXY. We'd be looking for that. So this would be an A, this would be our B. We'd want to see that come down in 5 to give us a Y wave. That sets us up as a candidate for a 4 to play into the 5th of the 3rd of the larger degree. So all of that implies that we are still just rolling here with Bank of America. There's just no reason to suggest that anything has topped here. So let's clean this up so we can get a better look at it. So right now, this is the count that I think is in play. This would be my primary count, but I'm conscious of the fact that I have the possibility that we go into a combination here and come down where you might look for that wave 4 in the prior wave 3-4 zone down here. But right so far, all right, I would stay with this as a completed 4th. So the other variable, and the reason that I bring that to your attention as a candidate, so look at the length of the 2. So look at our 2 relative to what would be our 4. Symmetry is not great here. All right, so if I do it this way here, bring all that in here. So we have, you know, it's guideline. I consider it a guideline of alternation. We have a short and shallow wave 4 relative to what we see in the 2. That's the possibility that we could go into a combination here and get a WXY. But that's not my primary count. That's just an alternate I want you to be aware of. And it's always a good idea to be looking at it and saying, okay, well, how does this fit? What does this symmetry look like? How does the 2 compare to the 4? So that's something to be watching for. Now, if we just keep rolling here and we get the push up here and we get a completed 5, well, then we're looking for the ABC, looking for the 3, 4, and 5 to take us up here to that. Right? So it's a little bit of a wait and see here to get more confirmation. If this has come down, put in the 4, we get the push. Now we have a motive wave off of this pivot, so we can be more confident that the 4 is in. We've got 5 taking us up into the 1 of the 5th of the 3rd. Right? You see all that? 1 of the 5th of the 3rd. Waves within waves within waves. All right, so there's plenty of opportunity. Looks to me like there's still lots of upside here to go yet into the 3, regardless of what happens here. Ultimately, we're still trending higher. No reason to think otherwise until we invalidate the count. So we charge on. With that, I'll wrap here. So I went, that's relatively short here, but this is a pretty straightforward one. So just a reminder, give us a follow over on Twitter. We do engage with our Twitter followers on a regular basis, and often we'll poll you guys to see what you'd like to see reviewed in video. Today we are in the final days of our giveaway, so that's another thing you can learn about over on Twitter. And if you're interested in our educational content in the members Discord, you can always check us out at our website, and that's tradedevils.com. All right, guys, that'll be a wrap for today.